Welcome to VEED Video Club Part 2. Today we have Charlie Hills. Charlie, can you introduce yourself?
Hi Brian, yeah, thanks for having me. I'm Charlie Hills. I'm an AI content creator, primarily on LinkedIn, but I'm starting to diversify to other channels, and yeah, I just bloody love AI, so that's me.
Nice, yeah, excited to chat all things AI today and get to know Charlie a bit more. So thank you again for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And excited to dive in. So should we start with our first question?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so we're all really impressed with the work that you've done in the AI content space, especially over on LinkedIn, being your primary channel. We would love to hear more about how you got started on this journey. So we'd love to hear a little background on it.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I started back in January 2024, and I was actually working full time. So I literally had to wake up super early in the morning to schedule my content. On weekends I was batch creating, and it was very hard, and none of that would have been possible without AI. Firstly, as a content pillar for me to talk about, because as I'm sure you're aware, every week there's a new AI update, which just gives me so much content to write about, but also to just really help me create content whilst being employed full time. Yeah. So that was always my mission, was to escape the 9 to 5. Yeah. Which I think is, anyone who works 9 to 5, it's great. But for me, I wanted to be free and to do my own thing. So that's when I started posting every day to LinkedIn. And yeah, it was really hard for months and months on end, but eventually over time I got better at using AI and also creating content with it. So around a year, and I'm not sure how long it's been a year and 5 months now. I'm on 120,000 followers, and
wow, huge community. It's amazing.
It's ginormous. Yeah, I really didn't expect myself to kind of reach these heights, but thanks to AI and LinkedIn, I've done it.
Yeah, that's
post
amazing.
By post.
Yeah, post by post, brick by brick.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah,
that's amazing. And why did you get into AI content specifically, or AI specifically? Why'd you gravitate towards that?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when ChatGPT launched, I was very excited because I actually wrote my dissertation at university about the impact of AI on customer loyalty. Okay. So I was already kind of keen about the topic. And then when ChatGPT came out, as the rest of the world was, very excited about the prospect of using this tool. So I was using it every single day whilst I was employed full time. Yeah. But yeah, I just kind of loved how easy it made everything. I've never been a good copywriter. Okay. At English in school, I hated it so much.
I did too.
Yeah, any languages full stop, don't. I'm so bad at it. So AI just helped me, write pretty good text and captions. Especially early on, because only recently we've seen it go multimodal. So I don't know why. I guess it just makes my life a lot easier, to be honest. And I know it's the future. That's why I'm so invested in it.
Yeah, bullish on it. Yeah. No, I agree. And I think, to your point, I think it helps automate so much that you can get a lot more done. So I think for someone who isn't good at a particular thing like copywriting, right? It can help you get better at a skill that you're not necessarily strong at. And I think now, personally, I think you're a good copywriter. So good job. But cool. And then in terms of making the switch to full-time, right? Because you said you worked a 9 to 5, and then you were working on the weekends, scheduling out content. When did you decide to make that switch to full-time in terms of being a creator?
Yeah, sure. So it was around 9 months into my LinkedIn journey. I was on 30,000 followers. Okay. And I signed my first client, basically, and the revenue was around about the same as my salary. So
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I was okay, now's the time to pull the plug. And because I'd always planned to escape the 9 to 5. That's why I was posting every day to LinkedIn. Yeah,
getting in those reps.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's so easy. Yeah. But yeah, it was very, very intentional. My job wasn't too challenging, which was kind of a good thing, because then I had the headspace to build on LinkedIn and build my personal brand. Nice. So yeah, it wasn't until 30k followers, and then a few months later, the revenue started dropping, and it was very scary for a few.
You're oh my god, I quit my job.
I need to go back. But then since from December, January onwards, it's all started to pick up, and it's looking very strong indeed. So
happy to hear that.
It was tough, but I'm so glad I did it, because the most important thing to me is freedom. That's what I want, and with AI and personal branding, that's exactly what I've created for myself.
Yeah. There's so much value in that. You can't put a price on on being free. So that's amazing, man. I'm happy to hear that. And you're living the dream, I think. So nice to hear that. So let's keep this rolling. So next question we have for you is, what would you say has been your favorite moment in the last year or last few years working with AI, specifically in marketing? So it could be about your personal brand, just in general, that something that sticks out to you in terms of a moment, maybe over the last year or so.
Yeah, it's quite tough. I mean, there's been many great moments.
It could be multiple things. Yeah, whatever you want to say here.
Yeah. So I think it was definitely, the thrill of scaling my personal brand at the start with AI.
Yeah.
Literally, I used to wake up like 5 a.m. every morning, go to the gym, post my content. And now I can't wake up before 8 a.m. now. I'm just like, I had so much passion at that time. It was so new and exciting, AI, personal branding for me. So every day I would literally leap out of bed, log into LinkedIn, check my analytics. Whereas now it's kind of the novelty's worn off. But besides that, I'd say the start of this year, 2025. Okay. It's been huge for AI updates. There was
a lot coming out.
Yeah, so much with the ChatGPT models, VEED 3.0, It's honestly endless. Yeah. And that's really exciting because it did plateau for a while, the AI updates, and now suddenly with the agentic systems, etc., it's all, really exploding.
Yeah, it gives you a lot to talk about as well.
Yeah, exactly, and a lot to learn too. Like AI agents, for example, is something I really want to invest in because to me, it feels like prompting and prompt engineering, it's kind of, a lot of people know how to do it now, I feel, and to really kind of differentiate and to keep learning and growing, I need to upskill myself.
Adapt with the market.
100%. I've never liked automation, but I know I need to master this to really keep just to get the most out of AI.
That's amazing too. I think the AI is really interesting because it moves so quickly. So if you're going to be a thought leader in the space, or for you, right? You've invested a lot of time into building a personal brand around AI specifically. So you have to learn a lot and relatively quickly, because a lot of things, like you said, sometimes it plateaus, but then it all comes at once. And now you need to learn a ton of things that you didn't know. So I think that's kind of interesting too, because it varies the work a ton and you kind of grow your overall skill set in a way that you maybe wouldn't if you're not specifically focused in a niche like AI. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of it I really learned just by posting, because when I started, I was not an expert in AI. I still don't feel like one sometimes. People might deem me as one. But it's literally every single thing that I've posted to LinkedIn, I've learned by doing it. And I think that's the best way to learn, rather than the theory. It's actually
kind of learn as you're going.
You don't need to be an expert to build or to become a thought leader. I think that's the most powerful thing, is learning as you go.
Yeah, and I think learning from your peers as well, because I feel like you specifically have built a really nice community on LinkedIn. Your comment section is always generally pretty supportive, and I think there's good discussion happening, because I feel like sometimes on LinkedIn, and particularly on social, there isn't a lot of discussion happening. It's a lot of this was a really nice post, thank you. And it's okay, cool, but can we have a conversation about it, right? And I feel like the comment section on your content is mixed, right? You have the people that are thank you, this is great, but then you actually have people in the AI space having a conversation with you, right? You're having a genuine conversation about the topic that you're covering, which I think is also really nice.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to talk about. People will come back and say, wait, have you tried this AI workflow? I'm just no, I haven't. So,
there's no right answer, right?
Yeah, there isn't really. Yeah, especially how early we are in the whole AI wave. We're still figuring out, aren't we? But no post will never go viral without some people, I'd say hate, but they're just giving their 2 cents on the topic.
Sure.
And I've come to just become familiar with that, but it always happens. Someone's wait, AI content? No, that shouldn't be a thing. What about human content, for example? So no, I love it. Thank you. I think that is important.
Yeah, totally important. And now switching gears, what has been your most challenging moment over the last year? It could be about personal branding. It could be about being a thought leader in the AI space. It could be about AI in general, whatever comes to mind.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think it's probably managing burnout.
Okay.
Because I feel like I've been on the edge of burnout 4 or 5 times at this point. Waking up and being oh God,
I can imagine. Yeah, all the content putting out as well. Yeah.
Yeah, especially being a solopreneur. Like, I don't have like a team of people. I can just be
It's
like
Charlie, and Charlie.
yeah, a lot of Charlie. You know, I'm the head of operations, the head of finance.
Yeah. Nice.
So it's tough, but you know, every time I felt like I'm about to burn out, then suddenly I've just hit a massive breakthrough and just suddenly felt rejuvenated.
Nice.
And that is very much thanks to AI. If I didn't have like my Notion automations, like my GPTs for creating content, I would have burnt out. I wouldn't be here today like without them.
Wow.
Like, to be honest, no way would have been possible for me to quit my 9 to 5 and then also to just continue posting high value content every single day. So,
and you're publishing every day.
Yeah, every single day.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's the max I can do. Some people like to do like 2 posts a day, which I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, you're like, no way.
No, I'd rather keep it one real high quality post and that's it. But yeah, it's definitely managing the burnout. That's been the hardest.
Yeah, it's difficult. And I think anyone who works in content, I think, can relate to that. Even here at VEED, right, we have a team full of creators, and I'm still managing team time and making sure the team is interested in the work and not burning out, because you have to create a ton of content. You have to make sure that you're keeping these social channels happy, you're staying active on the channels that you're on. We're not publishing every day. But I've been on brands where we do publish every day, and it's difficult. So especially when you're by yourself and you have to be clever with how you create content and how much time you're spending doing that. And like you said, not burning out, because that's the worst thing you can do, right? Because then you're a solopreneur, you don't have a job. It's like, this is my job, so I need to keep it going. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I can always have like mental health days, like whenever I feel
take
like
the day.
I'm just like, oh, Friday, I'm not doing this.
Yeah. Like,
which is a nice
give me a second. Yeah. Cool, man. Cool.
Definitely.
Cool. And what do you think you've learned from, I guess, potential burnout? God, you haven't burnt out yet, right? So what has potential burnout taught you?
It's taught me just to, you know, go easy on myself, because, you know, some days things don't go to plan, like systems don't work, you know, tech sometimes doesn't.
Of course.
Yeah, you know, like it like, especially when like ChatGPT goes down and they're like, what do I do now? So,
yeah, give yourself some grace.
I'm just like, damn, I have to write this myself.
No way.
No, so it's it's taught me just to be kind to myself, because
nice.
because, you know, I'm quite hard on myself day to day. I'm like, oh, I need to do this now by this time, and it doesn't matter. Like, it can always wait till tomorrow. You know,
Totally.
Nothing's pressing. It's not like the world's going to end. So it's just taking it easy and taking a moment to like breathe sometimes.
And that's a good reminder. I think as a creator, it's important to keep that into mind, right? It's like, there's some days you're going to feel off. It's like every single job on the planet, right? Even if you're a solopreneur, it's like, I understand that the time, or like your job never switches off, or you never switch off, but you need to make that time, or else burnout happens. So if you're a brand and you're just starting to explore AI to create content, where would you start?
Yeah, good question. I mean, obviously, I think the foundation is prompt engineering. You know, people just prompt AI with a lazy, can you write a post for me? But that is the foundational skill of leveraging AI. But I think also playing to your strengths. Like, if you are excellent at designing or bad at copywriting, then it's really like leaning into those type of AI tools. Like, there's like Ideogram, Midjourney for visuals, or ChatGPT if you want to write copy. I mean, it's just going wherever your weaknesses are, I think. And, you know, really improving that with AI.
Yeah, I think that's a really good place to start. But let's dig a little bit deeper, because I think the prompt discussion is a great starting point. Because I think for us, especially me, when I first started using like ChatGPT and things like that to help with copy specifically, I wasn't prompting very well, and I was getting a bit frustrated with like, okay, this isn't that good in terms of like output, like what am I doing wrong? And I quickly realized that, oh, it's because my prompt was really bad. So what would you suggest to get started with prompting? Because I think it could be a bit intimidating, especially for marketers specifically, who maybe aren't as comfortable with AI and don't have the right prompt, or don't know how to write a good prompt. What would you, I guess, say, what are the ingredients of a good prompt if you're going to prompt like ChatGPT or something?
Sure, yeah. I mean, the good thing about prompting is that you can always ask ChatGPT to write a prompt for you.
Oh, nice.
Which
okay.
is a bit
reverse
meta.
engineering. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. But I think the most important aspect, which many people neglect, is the role at the start, just by positioning the AI as a specific persona.
Okay.
Such as you're a copywriter with 30 plus years experience. Then that is proven to help improve the outputs.
Okay.
And then once you have that, then it's quite simple. You know, you can just ask it to write a post, and I imagine it's going to be a lot better than 90% of those lazy zero-shot prompts. And when I mean zero-shot, that means no examples have been provided. But to really go above and beyond there, you could provide like 1 to 3 examples, and that'd be a few short prompts.
And did you use like examples from like creators that you really like, or like a piece of copy that you really like? Like how would you provide, or what types of examples would you provide?
Exactly. I mean, it's case by case. You know,
Okay.
if you wanted to write a post, for example, then you could take 3 posts that you really like. Maybe they're your own, maybe they're someone who inspire you, and you just simply put it in at the end of the prompt and ask the AI to mimic it in that style, and it will take inspiration from it. So I think that is probably one of the most effective strategies. And if you want to use 3 to 5 plus, then that's a multi-shot prompt. So you'd give the AI the best chance of, you know, replicating those results without stealing.
Okay. Yeah. Of course. Don't steal. Do not steal. But that's a good shout, and I think that makes a ton of sense. And I think also like what I've realized, because I'm not that good at prompting, is over time you kind of find a way of working when it comes to like your style of copy, right? Because like now I feel like I have it dialed in, where before it would take me, I don't know, 30 minutes of back and forth between multiple discussions in the same conversation of like, I like this, but let's remove this. I like this, but let's remove this. And now I feel like I've dialed it in where I'm spending way less time and I'm getting pretty much what I'm looking for. And I always make changes, right? I always add a few things at the end or clean up the script, but it's always a really good starting point for me. And I think while some people might use it for their entire social copy, I use it as a starting point. I use it as my, okay, cool. I have the bones here, and now I'm going to fill it in a way that makes sense for me or for the brand.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think prompting as well is very iterative. You know, you don't really get to the perfect prompt the first time round. Like I have one for writing LinkedIn posts. And it took me like 6 months to develop. Like,
really? To fine tune it? Wow.
Yeah, I started off with like the role at the start, then I added like, you know, write the key points, etc. And then recently I added the PASS framework, which is like problem, agitate, solution. And I find it works very well. So well that I've taken it and put it into a custom GPT.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
You've made your own custom GPT.
Yeah, of course.
No.
I've got so many.
Yeah, all right.
But for writing the post, it literally 9 times out of 10 will get me 90% of the way there. I just literally fine tune it a bit, and then I'm like, voila, like let's go.
Ready to go.
Yeah,
okay.
basically.
Fill out that content calendar.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
And it works for me, but I also do that for my clients too. You know, I just simply change the role at the start.
Yeah.
And then it writes the perfect LinkedIn post. So yeah, very simple, but it took many months to develop that. Yeah. It wasn't overnight.
Yeah, a lot of fine tuning.
Yeah.
But I think there's something to that of like, if you're willing to put the time in and build something that works, okay, it might take 6 months, but now you've expedited every piece of content that's going to come out for the next however long until you refine it a bit more. So it's definitely worth putting in that time to create a custom GPT or something like that, or picking the perfect prompt or whatever it may be.
Yeah, exactly. And I use it for like so many use cases, like design briefs, for newsletter briefs, newsletter first drafts, but like you said, always a first draft.
Yeah, and then you refine.
Always, no, you have to.
As you should.
Yeah, otherwise it will be AI slop.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't want that. Do not publish that. And then in terms of like images too, because I find your content really, really interesting because you always publish your main post and then you add in some AI images in the comments, which I love because you usually go like, one is usually like humor focused, which I really love. I think they're really creative. Do you generate those as well with like your own custom GPT?
No. Oh, well, yeah, I do actually. I've got a pinned comment GPT.
Oh, nice.
And the pinned comment is basically like a comment that you leave underneath the post.
Yep.
And it will give me like 3 comments. And they're usually quite humorous, professional, like you said. But then, thanks to the new ChatGPT image generation feature, I can generate the images in the actual chat, like in the GPT.
Wow.
So today I generated me as like the Drake meme, being like, I can't remember the exact caption, but I just had so much fun with it. I was like, just give me some meme ideas and then just ask ChatGPT to generate it. So it's I think that's what people really love about my posts sometimes. Numerous people have said, I actually check out your comment section just to see those comments.
Nice, okay.
Which only helps with like dwell time, which is a good metric for the algorithm. Like the longer people spend on your posts. But yeah, that's ChatGPT. But I've been using like Ideogram, many different tools to generate these. And yeah, I have a lot of fun with it too.
Yeah. I mean, I love reading them. I always go to your comment section as well. And I think they're great. So continue doing them because they're hilarious. All right. Next question. So we know a lot of marketers feel intimidated by AI. We have done some research internally, and the stats show that marketers are intimidated by AI. So what advice would you give to someone who's just starting out with AI tools and workflows? Like not necessarily where would they start, but if you're feeling scared about AI in general, what can you do to kind of help build that knowledge base and maybe feel a little more comfortable with diving into the world of AI?
Yeah, it's a good question, because marketers, like, we were quite lucky to benefit from AI first out of like all the different professions. So I felt quite fortunate in that regard. But I guess obviously besides hands-on experience, which I think is the best way to learn, there's so many resources out there now. Like OpenAI released an academy recently, and it's just investing the time just to understand the basics and then just really grasping it and trying it every single day as much as you can, because I think hands-on experience is the best type of learning.
I agree, and I think there's so many tools. Actually, that's probably a good segue into a follow-up question of, there are so many AI tools out there, so many, and I think some marketers are kind of paralyzed by choice, right? Where you're like, okay, I am already overwhelmed, but there is literally 10,000 AI tools. Where do I start? Any that you recommend off the bat that you're like, okay, you're new to AI, start here type thing? Yeah,
of course. I mean, it's ChatGPT always.
That's like the go-to, the first one.
Of course. People like Claude, but ChatGPT's been my main squeeze since forever. And then I use a very select stack. I don't really, people will recommend a range of different tools, but like you say, are they actually any good? Most of the time, not really. So I think ChatGPT. Then there's Canva as well, which has nice AI features. There's also Ideogram is another great image generation tool that I really enjoy, and of course VEED for the video editing.
You heard it here. Charlie Hill's AI tech stack. You heard it.
That's it. Just 4 tools to rule them all, and that's all you need really.
I think a lot of marketers now, they're paralyzed by choice because there's so many different AI tools that they can use, and it's like, oh my God, where do I start? So do you mind sharing your AI tech stack?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think God.
You're good. All right, let's do it again. No worries. Dude, don't even think about it. You got it. All right, so.
Many tools.
Yeah. All right, we're back. Good? It's quiet now too. Dude, I hate these chairs. I'm like this. All right, I'm just gonna fucking do this. All right. We're rolling. All right. So I think a lot of marketers are paralyzed by choice, as I like to say, because there's so many different AI tools, and a lot of marketers don't know where to start. So do you have any that you would recommend? So could you share your AI tech stack?
Of course, yeah. Well, I mean, I think, there's 4 tools I use regularly, and it's ChatGPT for writing captions, brainstorming, content ideation, but then also Canva for all my static design needs. Ideogram for some fun AI images, which I like to put on the front cover of my carousels in my comment section, but also VEED for video editing and all things video, basically.
Amazing. Well, you heard it here first. Charlie Hill's tech stack. All good tools. I haven't used Ideogram, but I wanna try that one because I haven't used that. So the other ones I'm definitely familiar with, and very similar to the tech stack that I use, actually, other than Ideogram.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which one are you using, like Midjourney or?
Yeah, I'm using the ChatGPT 4.0.
Oh, of course.
The image gen one, right? That's the right model for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using that one, and then VEED, shameless plug, also has an AI text to image generator micro tool coming out. We'll share it alongside this conversation, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it, so I will share it with you as well.
I'd love to.
Amazing. Cool. Next question. So the AI space moves fast, as you know. How do you stay on top of all the new tools and trends without getting overwhelmed? Because I get overwhelmed. It's a lot to keep up with. So I'm curious to hear how you manage that.
Yeah, honestly, it's tough. Like, I had to give up my Duolingo streak because
oh my God,
there was just too many AI tools coming out.
That's serious.
Yeah, like I had to either drop something, and I was like, Duolingo, sorry. Like,
what were you learning?
French.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It wasn't going that
Not
well.
anymore.
So I dropped that because literally I can't keep up otherwise. So my main source is LinkedIn, to be honest.
Really? That's your knowledge base.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Like, I'm just so much in that AI ecosystem that I'll open LinkedIn. I'm like, oh damn, like OpenAI just launched a new model. I need to run home. I literally ran home from the restaurant once because I wanted to post about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Commitment. That is commitment. Every creator out there, if you're not doing that, you are not committed.
So yeah, literally, and I really enjoy being one of the first to break the new AI news. So for me, it's quite easy. But before that, I had like Google Trend alerts. Also, there's quite a cool thing you could do with ChatGPT and schedule tasks. It was one of their like lesser known updates that came out earlier this year. But you can basically set daily reminders, and it can inform you about all the AI news and everything, like you're reading kind of like a newsletter.
All right,
in ChatGPT.
Makes it easier.
Yeah, exactly. Rather than like Googling it. Who does that anymore? But
yeah. No one has time for that. So, do you have any creators on LinkedIn besides yourself that you would recommend to the general marketer or anyone who's interested in AI that they should follow that would help with AI news? Anyone that you want to plug or anything in general?
Yeah, I mean, most of them are French, to be honest. I don't know why. Yeah, weirdly.
Yeah, French creators, okay.
Yeah, they're quite big on their AI space over there. But it's Ruben Hassid, Paul Couvert, and Florian Cambiard, I think his name is.
Okay.
Those three I always get so much inspiration from because they're always one of the first to really break with the AI news, alongside myself, of course.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll just see it on LinkedIn, maybe Threads, anywhere. And besides that, actually newsletters too. Like
any that you recommend other than your own?
Definitely my own, but there's a few good ones like Mindstream, AI Report, the Signal. I subscribe to so many. I kind of see the headline. I'm like, oh damn, okay, yeah, I need to check that out.
Yeah, maybe we can share some after, or when this goes out, we can share a list of anything that you recommend.
Sure.
I think it's good to build a resource base for those who aren't as comfortable with AI because one, it helps. And then two, with discovery of new creators like yourself and anyone else who's in the AI space, I think it's important to shed some light. So let's definitely share some resources.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing.
Happy to.
All right. And now I think this is my favorite question, to be honest with you.
Okay.
All right. What's your go-to AI workflow right now? Like, what's the one this is like, yeah, this is my bread and butter right now. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, so from like content ideation to the actual final publishing of my post, it's taking information from like a blog, a newsletter, something, or like a transcript, going into these GPTs I've built. I think ChatGPT is like the go-to for me, and I have like GPTs for creating a carousel brief, which I'll then hand off to a designer. And then once they send it back, then I'll write a caption with it. And I find that's kind of like the most powerful workflow, which I spend all bloody day doing. Yeah. Because I'm just like creating so many posts for myself and my clients. So it's just leveraging custom GPTs for me. Yeah. That is the one I love. But besides that, the one that I really enjoy is creating AI images for like carousel covers. Because like they just really stand out on the feed.
Yeah, they do really well.
Yeah, like by having a real striking carousel cover. Rather than just like some boring image, which like stock image or something. I can find that you can be really creative with it, and just use ChatGPT to create prompts for it.
Yeah. And how hard is it to create a custom GPT? Because now you say you have a few. Is it difficult to build a custom GPT?
Oh no, it's so easy. And the weird thing is that I actually use Claude to write custom GPT instructions.
Okay.
Which, like, you think ChatGPT would be the best model for writing?
They're not.
It's not.
Yeah,
I don't know
okay.
why. Like, they love emojis, whereas Claude uses Markdown, which is like the language which you need to use for building custom GPTs. It's a bit complicated. Like, you have to use like dashes, hashtags, etc. But Claude does that all for you. So one of the most effective ways would be to like reverse engineer a newsletter, let's say, or a LinkedIn post, and say, can you create a custom GPT instructions to create a newsletter like this? And it will provide you like a great first draft. And the good thing about custom GPTs is that you can just test it in the test interface, and just refine it with the human touch or in Claude. So it's so easy. I thought the same. I thought it was hard, but then after I built one or two, I was like, this is so easy.
Really, I gotta try it, because I also thought it was extremely difficult to do, and I was like, I'm not doing that. But I'm gonna try it. Try doing it.
No, I think it's so easy, Brian. You should definitely check it out. I mean, the next thing I really want to learn is MCP, which I don't know if you've heard about.
I have not.
Oh, it's like this like new way that AI systems talk to one another. Instead of having like individual integrations, it's like one universal language which they all speak. And I've recently installed it with Claude, and I can talk to like my Notion dashboard, all within Claude. Like, I can like add content to it. It's really impressive.
Oh my God, I have so much to learn. Well, this is cool. I mean, that sounds insane. So I'll start with the custom GPT, and then I have to look up. You said MSP?
MCP, Model Context Protocol.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna look that up. That's cool. I actually haven't used Claude. I've heard good things about Claude, but I haven't actually used it. I've been like most marketers. I only use ChatGPT for the most part.
Same.
But I do need to diversify my toolkit because I feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah, I mean, I think ChatGPT works very well. Like the emotional intelligence, they actually recently reported that it was too like psychophantic. I don't know if that's how you said it word.
Okay.
But it's like it was too like kind and
ChatGPT.
Yeah, basically like every time you talk to ChatGPT, it'll be like, yeah, great, brilliant. Like you could
You're doing a good job.
Yeah, it's like, come on, let's be real.
Yeah.
But I find it's got very good with the writing style now, and like Claude, people love Claude for creative copy, but I don't.
You prefer ChatGPT?
Yeah, because they've got a 4.5 model as well, which like isn't built for that. So
for copywriting specifically.
Yeah. I love ChatGPT so much. I think for only 1 month I've cheated on it and gone over.
But
to
he's
Claude.
back. Cool, man. All right. Well, look, this one's a loaded question.
Okay.
So take your time with this one, and let's see where we go. Okay. So how do you see AI changing in the next 2 to 3 years? It moves really fast, and maybe this is a harder question to answer, but I'm curious to hear your take.
I mean, I think the models have become very advanced now with image generation, video generation, and text generation. So that's all, squeaky clean. I think the next thing is actually building like AI teams of, firing ourselves hopefully in a positive, good way for humanity. So humans simply have more free time, and that's leveraging AI agents. I'm so excited about the prospect of these tools and how they can basically do what a team of 50 people were doing with just 2, 3, 4, 5 agents. So I think that really is the next innovation. This year has been, called the agentic year. And I do strongly believe in that. It's just going to be all about automations and using these sophisticated tools that we've built, but then actually automating processes and making it a lot leaner with a lot less, which hopefully should be good for society.
Yeah, let's hope so. I think there's a lot of discussion around AI agents specifically. Like, I don't know if you saw on LinkedIn, but Duolingo announced that they're leveraging AI more, and there's a lot of backlash of like, okay, you're going to replace half of your employees or whatever the number was, I'm not sure what it was, with AI agents or with AI. What is your take on it? I see like you're supporting it, and I think there's benefits, but I feel like it's very polarizing in terms of topic. Like, people are literally scared. I'm in the camp of not being scared, by the way. I think it's going to automate things for the better. But in terms of like maybe roles that AI agents would cover, do you think there's anything specific?
Yeah, I definitely think more administrative tasks, such as like checking emails, scheduling and sending sending like reminders. But for the creative side of things, I think it's quite hard to really use agents to replace creative thinking.
Yeah,
because
you still need that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So I think if anything, hopefully we can just all work a lot less with it. I mean, providing that the big corporations are tactful about it. But
sure.
I totally get it, because especially if you're a junior person in the company, I don't think I'd have the same opportunities as I did when I started my career. Because like menial tasks.
Yeah, you're not really getting into it. You're doing something that maybe isn't as interesting.
Yeah, but like we won't really need those kind of hires anymore. So I think there is definitely a dark side to it. But yeah, I think definitely for mundane tasks, like just connecting systems and dots, like that's going to help us a lot more.
Yeah, which opens the door to focus on other things. But yeah, like you said, if you're a junior employee, what does that look like for you? Or maybe even entry-level roles change now, right?
Yeah.
So the requirements of them and what you're expected to do also changes.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, I really do hope the young people will have the same opportunity that I did when I started, but you never know.
I guess we'll have to see how it unfolds.
Yeah.
All right, and last question, then we'll have a pause, and then we can do our spicy takes. Last question here. If you had to place a bet on what's not going to age well in the current AI climate, what do you think it'll be? Hold on, let me ask that again, because I messed that up. Okay, last question here. If you had to place a bet, what's not going to age well in the current AI climate?
Yeah, it's quite hard, but I definitely think copyright is a big issue with AI. Especially with like the new ChatGPT image generation model. I saw someone talk about committing fraud with it. Like you could literally create a fake receipt or damage to your car, and then go to your insurance company and be like, hey, this is my car, it's broken.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
It's kind of scary. So policy needs to catch up with that, but then also copyright and what you actually own, because if you're using AI to generate text, image, video, whatever, you don't actually own it. Like you actually have to have serious input in the final product to have that as your
ownership.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the whole copyright infringement stuff, that's not going to age well. I mean, I'm sure AI has stolen a lot of data and information already, which isn't great. So I'm sure we'll look back at this in 10 years time and be like, God, that was the Wild West.
yeah. And now there's like a ton of regulation and it's completely changed.
Yes.
But how would you suggest these big AI companies because like it moves so fast, so how do you regulate something that's moving literally at the speed of sound?
Yeah, it's very hard. It feels like it has to come from the corporations themselves, because even with AI in education, like by the time the schools have caught up with it all, like thousands, millions of kids have already cheated and used it to pass their exams.
Don't cheat.
So it is very, very difficult. I think the EU, like we're quite lucky here. We're very stringent with that, but I know in the US and other places it's a little bit less. So I'm not actually sure, but I'm glad I'm not the one making those calls, because it's not easy.
Yeah. No, that's a tough one. That's a tough one, and I think it's something to consider, especially being a creator in the AI space, right? Like, what is the content that you actually own? What's technically copyright? What isn't? Definitely something to ask yourself, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you publish a book and it's all written by ChatGPT, then that's just like,
is it even your book?
It's not.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Charlie. That concludes the main interview.